Fission ensures that many devils get to feed. If they were like leopards and capable of carrying a carcass up a tree silently, it would be different. They make a lot of noise, as you can hear. I mean, that's not a lot by devil standards. And they have a good sense of smell. So you see, they're not actually using their eyes when they find food at all. It's not that their eyes are necessarily poor, it's just that they're nocturnal scavengers, not daytime scavengers. So that's a little bit, that's why this scene is a little bit abnormal. These guys and girl are 1 year of age and would normally be off on their own, left by their mothers. That sounds like abandonment, but in fact mother devils are superb. They look after their babies to 3 weeks in the uterus. Remember, they're marsupials, so they're really giving birth to embryos. At 3 weeks they give birth to 20 things that long, length of a grain of rice. Remember marsupials? They do most of the growing in a pouch with milk, whereas we do most of the growing in a uterus with a placenta. That's the difference between us and them, or one of the differences. Perhaps our table manners might distinguish us as well, you never know. So they then keep those little embryos in the pouch for 4 months when they get 1,000 times as big. So you could claim that this animal is more a mammal than we are. We can use infant formula, but they're very dependent on milk to grow their young, and there's no way we could replace that. And then after they're actually independent of the pouch at that size, the mother devil looks after them in dens for another 5 months. So she's actually the picture of motherhood. She spends 10 months of her year raising her babies. Their mortality is very low because she is such a superb mother. Devils and eagles, other devils and eagles would be the risks before cats and foxes, I guess. And after thylacines, I guess. But then their mortality really climbs because they're off on their own having to find food. And one of the common places young devils like this go looking for food is roadkill cafes. There is a risk in eating at a roadkill cafe, of course. But there was a time before we came, before 200 years ago, when devils would go for 3 nights out of 4 without eating. Because they can scavenge, because they are big, because they have bone shears for teeth, instead of little needle-sharp teeth like the quolls, they can go without eating for a number of days. That's one of their adaptations to living in a cold, wet Tasmania. Hard to believe today. Stick around, tomorrow it'll be cold and wet again. So what you're actually looking at, those of you who are Australians will know there are lots of little carnivores that we have. They're called dasyurids, and they usually live in our deserts, and they're things like planagales, flascagales, dunarts, kawaris, quolls, all these funny names, but they're all ferocious little carnivores about that long to that long, like our quolls. Quolls are one too. This is the giant, and all the devil has had to do to become a superb scavenger, and actually the apex predator in our ecology.